Scrap your hands off. Scrap it.
Yeah, guy. What's the voice? We change it every time. It's like sometimes he has cold, sometimes he doesn't.
Sometimes he just finished smoking 10 cigarettes.
Alright, guys, so as you guys can see, my favorite Orange Potato member is Ethan. Oh, wow, really? Yeah,
Yeah,
man.
because no one else is willing to like him.
Yeah, that may be true. Well, Ethan is like my favorite Orange Potato member.
Alright, let's get started.
Yeah, woo! Alright, guys, let's get started. Woo!
You could be a raccoon. It happened in the dead of the light.
Oh, we already saw this one, right? The one with the knife thing or something.
Yeah.
She
Let's
cut,
just
right?
double check.
Yeah,
I was like, oh, Monica's the raccoon with the knife.
Yeah.
Ethan is so stupid. How did I let myself be the center of attention? So I was going through these kind of feelings. I'm letting her comfort me instead of the other way around. What kind of club president does that? This whole time, I didn't think to ask about her own feelings.
I think I was right.
So much for this
What?
stupid vision.
About
Starting
someone's
into the club,
depression.
but upon the downcast Monica, downcast Monica, her smile on her face is her concern. Monica, is everything okay? ... I'm really sorry. You're such a terrible friend. Huh? What are you talking about? You're an amazing friend. Monica shakes her head. I made this all about myself. Even you said so yesterday. You told me that I'm trying to make the club that I need the most, right? But my problems are so trivial compared to yours. Trivial compared to yours.
Tribal.
Sarah responds quietly. What are you talking about? But as she says that, her face darkens. Through the silence, Sarah mutters her realization. I left my folder here. Monica stares blankly ahead, unable to come up with a response. I wasn't ready to share those. Now you're worried about me? I don't want that. Why not? But why? We're friends, right? What does it say? Sorry, nods. What? That's not.
Because even though it says but what and I'm like mouthing you, I said why not to.
Friends look out for each other. I want to be here as much as you're here for me. Another long moment passes in silence. The air is incredibly heavy. This is different. It wasn't just about you yesterday. It was about the club. Besides, things were so happy yesterday. You don't need to do this all of a sudden. I don't want it. I like happy. So, if you do this, then you're just being selfish. Monica massages her forehead, struggling through the frustration of such a paradox. It's understandable that Sarah isn't ready to share certain things. But as unfair as it is for Monica to pry, it's also painful for Monica to force herself to ignore the needs of her friend. I'm sorry I looked. I just respected your privacy. No, I don't blame you for looking. You would have at least needed to check if it was mine. Yeah. Monica takes a deep breath. Okay. I understand that you don't want me to worry. I think I'll be able to put this aside so that we can move on. But can you promise me something? Promise you what? Monica pauses to collect her thoughts. This is the Literature Club. It's a place where people can express themselves in a way that life normally doesn't allow them to. That's the vision. In fact, it's our vision. Write the way into your heart or whatever. So I just want you to promise that you'll remember that too. It doesn't have to be right now, but I want you to be here. I want to be here for you when you need it. I want us to be ourselves, like that. Siren smiles gently. I'll promise you if you promise. Unable to help it, Monica returns a sorry smile. I promise. Me too. As the conversation closes, the mood in the room is lifted. With that behind them, it's time to proceed the club activities. So, want to teach me about poetry? Huh? What about recruitment? It's fine, we have plenty of time for that. But right now, I feel like I want to do this. I mean, I do have to fulfill my end of the promise, you know? There's no way I can say no to that. Just don't expect much. I do a lot of writing, but it's not like I'm a scholar or anything. That's fine. I think I just need, like, some motivation. I never know where to start when it comes to writing poems. Starting isn't so hard. You just kind of need to write down your feelings and see where it takes you. Yeah, but that wouldn't come out any good. It's not supposed to. You're gonna have to fight your perfectionist mind on this one. You can just start by writing your feelings and see what kind of things make you think of, whatever. And then you can turn your feelings into a little story. Alright, Ethan, read.
You can get your feelings down first.
Read it fast.
And make it pretty later.
Say it fast.
It's like...
It's kind of funny how I wrote down what I'm mad at myself for, and then I did the exact thing anyway. This is really going to take some getting used to. I believe you. Thanks. I do too. me, but also you, of course. Hee hee. Monica continues to exercise jotting down her thoughts. It's surprisingly quite a struggle to write about without overthinking it. But after a while, with Sayori's guidance and encouragement, Monica's sheet of paper begins to look fairly lively, peppered with all of her random thoughts. Whew. Monica looks up and down at her sheet. Gosh, I feel so tense looking at this. I hate it. But it's also kind of liberating. I can tell how hard you're trying. It makes me happy. I think you'll be good at writing poems. Don't give me too much credit. I'd have to really try hard at it, but I think it's something that I'll enjoy doing. With you, Sayuri beings, I'll just stop here, but we still have time. Be sure to work out a new flyer for the club. I won't be so picky about the language. Yay, let's do it. Monica and Sayuri proceed with their work. With each passing day, the two of them become more confident in the club, not simply from their recruitment planning, but from their vision as well. As their bond strengthens, so does the essence of the literature club. Finally, they begin to truly feel it's only a matter of time before they find more members. Did I just finish it without them? Oh. Another day passes. As usual, Monica is the first one to the club room. With her is a printout of the revised literature club flyer, complete with all the new ideas Monica and Sayuri came up with. If only this was the flyer we gave to the one reading girl the other day. It's so much more attractive than the old one. But the new catchphrase is featured clearly in the center of the flyer. Write the way into your heart. Surely the common sense would say the one writes from the heart, not into the heart. But the message being delivered is that one can use writing to discover themselves. Hopefully, Monica and Sayuri had thought that it would be enough to garner some curiosity from students. Why do I feel so tense looking at this? Monica thinks back to the previous meeting when she performed the writing exercise. Was I always as bad at expressing myself? How am I supposed to be president if I can't just demonstrate what the club is supposed to be about? The literature club was truly beginning to take form, but with that, the weight on Monica's shoulders only become heavier. Debate club was always about rigid structure, formulating airtight points and counterpoints and delivering them with conviction. It was about the person on the outside. That's why Monica was so good at it. It existed entirely within her realm of comfort. It's suffocating. I need to break through this mental wall. I need to learn how to express myself for real. Monica pulls out a sheet of paper and grabs a pen. She presses the tip of the pen firmly against the paper, but her hand doesn't move. Instead, a tiny blot of ink collects around the tip of her pen. Monica lifts her pen and stares at the little blotch. For some reason, she feels compelled to run her finger across it. As she does so, the black ink smears across the paper, ruining Monica's canvas. Ugh. Out of spite for herself, Monica presses her pen down once again, letting the ink collect. She repeats a second smear of the paper. Come on, Monica. Just move your hand. Monica writes. This is what I ever seek in perfection. The stain. Monica slides the paper away from her and puts her head down on the desk. The air conditioner seems louder today. I'm here. Hi. Monica hears Sayuri approach the desk, then stop for a second, probably reading the piece of paper. Then she sits down in the adjacent desk. They're just becoming really good friends.
Who?
With each other, duh.
Oh.
And then Monica's learning that she's a perfectionist, which is what brings her the inability to perfectly or write poems well. Then she sits down at the adjacent desk. Bad day? Mm-hmm.
Which one is he gonna do?
Me too.
Which one is he gonna do?
You too.
Yeah, you did too. You did the
The new flyer looks good. You've been working so hard on the club, but also something else, I think. I can't do it. I'm sorry. It's so hard to just be vulnerable. Sorry takes a sheet of paper from Monica's desk. She writes something down and stares at it for a while. Can I trust you? Of course. You can trust me with anything. Sayuri gazes at Monica with sadness in her eyes. Understanding the signal, Monica takes the paper from Sayuri's desk and reads it. What? Wait. Wait. What? Wait. History. Oh, it's Sayori's poem. I thought Monica's poem did like a 1 through 60 or something. Jesus Christ. Sayori. This is really hard for me. Her voice shakes. So if I can do it, then you can too. Because you're like a million times better than me. That's completely not true. Sayori takes a deep breath, trying to steady herself. That's something about me that I've never told anyone before. Even now my head is like screaming at me to stop. Wait, you don't have to force yourself. I mean, just because of the promise yesterday, I want to. It just feels right. I mean, maybe it's part of the reason why I came to the club in the first place. This is the literature club. I trust you more than I'm scared. At those words, Monica stands up. Sayori must have taken days to work up the courage for this. Or Monica's own futile but genuine efforts actually the push that Sayori needed. Sayori's deliberate breaths can be heard over the air conditioner. As she prepares herself to continue, Monica waits in gentle silence. I have this problem where I get really upset when people worry too much about me. I can't control it. It's like, why waste your energy worrying about me when you could just be happy instead? So I never tell anyone about these kinds of thoughts that I have. It's so much easier to just smile and help everyone else be happy. But that's terrible. That's what Monica wanted to say, but she stopped herself fear saying the wrong thing.
What's going on?
It's just that everyone, they're writing poems.
Oh, did you get to read it?
No, basically Monica was like, she was trying to write a poem, but she couldn't do anything, so like her pen was just sitting there and created an ink buck and it created a smear, and then it said, this is what you get for being perfect, you get a stain, and then she read Sayori's, and Sayori's had a smear stain too, and it said, sometimes I just want to die, and then Monica was like, Jesus Christ, Sayori. It's just that if everyone knew about it, they wouldn't treat me the same anymore. Like whenever I'm not smiling, they would worry about me and ask me what's wrong. I know that.
Did you hear me?
It's okay, I'll read it. You're not worried that I'll be one of those people too. I am worried. Part of me really hates myself for doing this, but another part of me, I think, just felt like it would be different this time. Whenever we talked about
so
what
sweet.
love is supposed to mean, I kept telling
Again,
like,
what happened? So,
especially after you were trying so hard to express yourself too. It just made me
She's
feel
like-
like I could
she's
say
like,
with confidence and our
one
friendship
for
doesn't
all.
have to change. Ha, it's so silly. The club is only for people, but it already means this much to me. Monica feels a tightening
Monica,
sensation in her
oh,
heart.
sorry,
A
it's one for
feeling-
all.
A feeling of connection as Sayori's emotions radiate between them. Me too. I was so lost until you showed up. You're so brave, Sayori. You're so strong and brave. I don't need to prepare. Monica steps forward, but if nothing else, I can at least offer you some hug energy, if you'd like. Oh, that's a nice scene.
We're just
Where-
leaving
oh.
without a smile. Sorry, resting her forehead on Monica's shoulder. Hold on, when it's sad, you gotta look at this scene.
Through the contact,
A beautiful scene!
Through the contact, Monica